Hey, what's up? My name's JM Chaley and welcome to my channel. This month I'm doing 31 tips in 31 days, 31 author tips through the month of July, every single day, 2024. And this is tip number 19. And I want to talk about placeholders when we write our drafts. And there's a couple of approaches to this, and I want to dig into it because is there a better way? Should we be using them? Should we not be using them? Should we use them sometimes? When should we use them? Should we use them at all? What's a placeholder? So a placeholder is if you're writing and you come across, I don't know, a scene where you need a name for some guy. And you can't think of his name right now, but who cares what his name is? And you just put, blah, blah, blah. I use a capital like XXXX, and I know to come back to that later and fill that in. Or some people put in like in parentheses, I need a name for this person. However you do it, that's a placeholder. And then you just keep on writing because who cares what his name is? So my problem when I do that is inevitably I come back and I reference this person again and I'm like, so then XXXXXX says, and XXXXX says this, and then XXXX, and then finally I'm like, I need a name for this guy. And I stop what I'm doing and I go back and I change the name because I'm driving myself crazy. Now, some people can finish their entire manuscript and then go back and find these little placeholders and fill them in and they're fine. I'm not always that way. And if you're pantsing, right? So if you're plotting, maybe you already have names for all these things and you know who people are and all these extraneous characters. And these are all filled out in your outline. But if you're pantsing, then you don't know. You're creating these folks on the fly, these side characters, whoever. Maybe they're not even side characters. They're just in some scene. You'll never see them again. And who cares what their name is? Or maybe it's not even a name. Maybe you need to research something. Maybe you're coming around and you're like, blah, 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 blah. And you realize, how does that work? I need to figure out how, wind turbines work, for me to continue on with this scene. So do you stop writing and go research wind turbines? Maybe. Or maybe you just put in a placeholder and it says, research this, come up with some snappy dialogue, whatever, and then move on with the next scene that you know is going to happen after that conversation. But maybe you find out that the wind turbine conversation is germane to what happens later, and it may affect what happens later based on how the technology works. And now, you got to go back and do your research. So, what's the tip? Because this is a problem we all have. The tip is find out what works for you, but don't tether yourself to it. It's okay to put a placeholder in with the best intentions of moving forward with your manuscript and not being deterred, and then going back and filling it in before, even the next page. That's okay. But hey, if you're one of these folks that can just finish an entire manuscript with your placeholders intact and go back during your round of edits and filling them in, hats off to you. I could never do that. I think I would lose sleep. I would drive myself crazy, especially if anything is hinging on a particular name or research that I had to do that I couldn't continue on because I don't know how it would work. I think that one might be the same for everybody, of course, right? But placeholders, yeah, do you use them? Should you use them? I think your mileage is going to vary, but I think it's really your call, depending on what it is and how important it is to your manuscript. So I just want to talk about this short little topic for a while because it's something we all do, but I wanted to poke at it to see how really important it was and how much we should be worried about it. And I don't think we should be worried about it at all. I've seen some writers where they're like, oh God, I have to go back and do my placeholders. That's okay, or maybe don't use them at all. It's up to you. So, yeah, that's the tip. Don't stress the small stuff. Certainly don't stress placeholders. Use them if you need to. Don't use them if you don't. So that about wraps it up. That's tip number 19. If you like this video, please smush that like button. And as always, please subscribe. I post every single day in the month of July, 31 tips in 31 days. So I'll see you tomorrow.